Put it simply, the Revs were on their way to California for a game against Chivas USA in the forever beloved North American Superliga. Rest in peace. They hopped on their non chartered jet with the rest of the American population and prepared to take off the cross country trip to play the game. However, anybody who has flown in America knows that it is never just as easy as getting up, getting on the plane, and then getting to where you need to go. There are flight delays, the seats might be too small, your neighbor might be weird, there's not enough space for your luggage, but the best part are the other passengers that you get to fly with. By this point, most people have seen the meme going around of that woman on the airplane pointing in the back and saying, that guy right there is not real. Yeah, well, the incident we cover today, this incident walked so that meme could fly. On July 17th, 2008, Taylor Twellman, Matt Reese, Jeff Lorenowitz, and everybody's favorite Red Bull Cano Smith joined their teammates as they made their way to Boston Airport to board a direct flight from Boston to LA. They checked in, they got on board, and they waited for the rest of the passengers to be seated. The flight attendants went through their safety demonstration. Everybody fastened their seatbelts, and then they were off, high into the sky with one thing on their mind: 3 points in the North American Superliga. However, other passengers were not so focused on that particular task. At some point in the flight, Craig Tornberg, the GM of the Revs at the time, in an interview after the incident, that there was this man in the plane who was in his early 20s, crying and talking a lot of gibberish. Now, if you're on a plane right now and you see that happen, that's a red flag, and you're calling a lot of people to be like, hey, we need to check on this guy, right? But back then they were like, we're just going to go about our business. That was until this man got up to use the restroom. From here, things get a little weird. I don't know if I need to say listener discretion advised. I might. Because as he emerged from said restroom, he was completely 100% naked. Hornberg was the first person on the Rev staff to see this man, at which point he advised him to probably go back in the bathroom and put his clothes on. The man responded exactly as you would expect it. I don't hear you and I don't see you. You're not real. However, he did take Tornberg's suggestion and redressed in the airplane bathroom. Upon emerging from the bathroom again, he had one thing on his mind: the emergency exit door. He made a beeline for it in a frantic motion, and this is when passengers noticed that something might be wrong and that he needed to be restrained. Up stepped 3 members of the New England Revolution staff: Michael Burns, VP of Player Personnel, Craig Tornberg, as previously mentioned, and Gwyn Williams, the goalkeeper coach. They, along with other passengers close by, restrained this man and forced him back into his seat, at which point the flight attendants called the cockpit and requested an emergency landing, where they landed in Oklahoma City, where the passenger was removed from the plane and taken in for a mental evaluation. Within the hour, the plane got back in the sky and landed in LA with no other issues. While no players were involved, many, including Chris Albright, were interviewed about the situation before being ushered away to prep for the match. The Revs would go on to tie this match against Chivas, conceding early in the second half to Ante Razov, only for Shalry Joseph to tie the game with 12 minutes to go. New England would make it all the way to the finals of the Superliga and beat Houston in 2008 for the title. So while the incident did not have a negative impact on the team, and some may argue it even brought them closer together to have to go through something like that as a group, at the end of the day, we are all just glad that it had a safe and happy ending to this potentially horrific story.